Alright, we're looking at sheet D3 and we're trying to figure out which views to always draw first. When we look at this one from the front view, we see this big fat D on its side. We look down at it, we see two rectangles A and B, and when we look at it from the right side, we see two rectangles 1 and 2. Well, for this particular drawing, we've got these brackets that are on the sheets. These brackets are representing the actual size of the part. So it says on this drawing that the part is 3 1/4 wide. Well, if I measure 3 1/4, it'll be pretty much right on with those brackets. It says the part is 1 3/4 tall. Well, if I measure that, it's pretty much right on at 1 3/4. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put those two lines in there to draw my front view. You draw the front view first 98% of the time because it has the most features on it. I'm going to try to get this D looking piece. I got to figure out how tall this edge is right here. Well, it tells me the overall size of the part is 1 3/4. It tells me that measuring downwise that it's 1 1/4 left over. So I got to subtract two fractions. 1 3/4 minus 1 1/4 gives me 2/4, and 2/4 is a half. So that tells me that I got to measure up 1/2 of an inch here. Now, and it also tells me that I can come over 1 1/2. So I will measure that 1 1/2 mark over. Now at this point, I don't have to even really know any of the other measurements. And why? Because I can just transfer those things up. So I measured over the 1 1/2. I'll run that one up. I'm going to take this bracket. I'm going to measure it over. Maybe erase out a little bit here. And there's my front view for that top one. Now with that stated, I've got the top view done. I'm sorry, the front view done. I don't have to measure anything for the top view and the right side view to be completed. We're going to transfer all the features. I'm going to transfer every single up and down line. Up and down line, I'm going to transfer it up. This up and down line, I'm going to transfer it up. This up and down line, I'm going to transfer it up. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the brackets that are on there. Bring them over. And right there is A and B, top view done. I'm going to do the same thing for the right side view. I'm going to transfer over every horizontal line. I'm going to go ahead and use the brackets. And there's 1 and there's 2, and that drawing is done. Notice that all the features transferred up, everything lines up perfectly. I'm measuring with my ruler, etc., etc. Now when we go down to the second one over here, pretty much the same concept. We're going to draw the front view first. So what we're looking at is drawing this little hat shape, and the hat shape is 3 1/4. It tells us that the overall size of the part is 1 3/4 tall. It didn't give me a bracket here, so I'm actually going to have to measure that. So I'm going to measure up 1 3/4. Come up 1 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and make my 3 1/4 mark over. Now I need to be able to figure out how to get up, over, and up and over. So I need to know how tall this part is right here. Well, if the overall size of the part is 1 3/4, and how far down it comes is 1 inch, 1 3/4 minus 1 inch leaves it. This piece is 3/4. This piece is 3/4. It tells it to come in 3/4 as well. So actually, I probably shouldn't even have drawn that line up. I'm going to measure up 3/4 of an inch on both sides. I'm going to measure in 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Actually, that line doesn't hurt. Bring that across. Bring this one over. So now I've got my hat, and I would have to eventually erase that out. So there's my top hat. Now when I look down at this piece, I see 1, 2, 3 rectangles. So from my top view, I'm going to transfer up all the up and down measurements. Everything, any line that's up and down, I'm just transferring straight up. And in this example, I can use the brackets. And I've got 1, 2, 3 rectangles. There's your top view complete. Now to get this right side view, I'm going to transfer across all the horizontal lines. Use the brackets to shoot them up. And from this view I see A and B. Well, now there's A and there's B. D3 is now completed.